You guys are listening to WSIN 1590 AM, and this is Country Fried. Here with us, we have Mr. Scott Mac. He is the lead singer of the Scotty Mac Band. How you doing, Scott?
I'm good, man. How are you today?
Good, very good. As Randy will come in soon, guys, we're just waiting on her, but we're going to get started anyway. I'm just going to start off with Scott, with a little background information, honestly. Let our listeners know who you are, and where you guys started from, and where you guys are today.
Absolutely. We're Southern California-based country band. We're all kind of loosely based out of the Orange County and lower Los Angeles area, Long Beach, and we actually got started on Craigslist.
Huh.
It's one of those things I put out an ad a couple years ago. This was actually, the band started as a side project for me, mainly because a lot of people had said that country music wasn't going to really go over that big in Orange County, and a lot of naysayers when you get something started. But I just thought it would be a fun side project. Go out, play bar once or twice a month. Really it was all about just having a good time. And 6 to 8 months later, it started picking up. The bar scene started getting fun, and then next thing you know, things just kind of builded. We got our first big booking about a year and a half ago. We landed our first big booking, opening up for a festival with Jake Owen and Joe Nichols.
Really cool.
Cam was there, and that one booking just led to a lot of stuff. I mean, we had a big summer last year. We got a big summer coming up again this year with some of the festival scenes. We'll be in Long Beach playing with Easton Corbin and Ship Kicker. We're heading out to Country Jam in Grand Junction, Colorado, and we play on the night that Zach Brown Band plays.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. We always joke that it was a Craigslist. Me and my drummer met. We tell people we met in the casual encounters section of Craigslist. It's just kind of a joke. It was just this fun project that just turned into something really incredible.
That's really cool. Well, leading on to our second question, obviously, when did you realize that you were a singer, that you wanted to? Obviously, you were looking at it as kind of a hobby to start this band, but what kind of made you realize that, hey, I could use my voice maybe as a side job?
I've been trying to make some form of career out of music for as long as I can remember. I got a guitar when I was 12 or 13, and that was kind of it. I went through all the different types of bands that were popular in high school. A lot of rock stuff, some punk stuff, and just so I could go out and play with my friends. And it wasn't until I got in my mid-20s that I really started pushing it and pursuing it. You just go out and you got to work. I was terrible at it. I still think I'm terrible at it, but I wake up and I work every day, and so I'm not really sure if that answers your question. I've always been into writing.
There you go.
I never thought I could sing. I was always writing songs back in high school and middle school and through college. But yeah, mid-20s, it just kind of was like, well, if nobody else is going to come along and sing, I better try and pick it up, and it just kind of, worked itself out along the way.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's actually an amazing story for people out there who are just poets or writers and just, hey, you know what, let me start trying to sing.
Yeah, my theory on anything with this line of work is you can't be afraid to try. You just got to keep, putting one foot in front of the other, and really with the different acts that I was trying to start up with my friends, the singer was always the hardest thing to find. It just boiled down to you get people who think they can sing, and and they're not putting in the work. It's not. I shouldn't say think they can sing, but they think they can show up and sing without putting in the work.
Very true. I know people like that.
So yeah, you just gotta not be afraid to try it yourself. And one foot in front of the other.
Really cool. So who, as of growing up as a Southern California kid yourself, you said that rock and roll was a pretty big thing back there in Southern Cal. You had to be in high school probably around middle 90s.
Pretty close, man. Yeah, late 90s.
So late 90s, rock and roll scene in the Southern California. You had what? Sublime. You had Nirvana kind of trickling down from Seattle. Am I close?
Yeah, you're way close, man. You know your stuff. Yeah, definitely growing up in the high school groups that I ran with, Sublime was a big one. It's funny, actually, you mentioned that one of the first guitar solos I ever learned was to Santeria. That was the first one I learned from start to finish. Me and my friends listen to a little bit of everything. I've gone from, AC/DC to Clapton, Allman Brothers, all the stuff my dad raised me on. Me and my friends used to listen to that. Even into some of the heavier stuff that was popular back then, like Pantera. Dimebag Darrell I was a big fan of him in my late high school, early college years. I'm kind of all over the board. Stevie Ray Vaughan. It just really just depends on who I was into at the time, they'd serve as my role model, and it still kind of carries through that way.
Who would you say influenced you the most? We'll say singer first, and then we'll go into your whole guitar aspect.
I think I need to go with Brad Paisley on all of that as an all-inclusive answer to that question. He's the one I grew up on. I mean, there was country music. When I say that we're from Orange County, I grew up in a small desert town about an hour and a half to 2 hours in from the beach. Yeah, I was out there till I was my early 20s. And I mean, it was a ranch town and a dairy town. We had horses and the whole bit. So we were always going to horse shows, and country music was around a lot of the time, even though it wasn't really popular amongst the kids I ran around with at school. So I grew up listening to Garth Brooks. I remember 2 of his CDs always being on repeat, Dwight Yoakam. But it wasn't until I got asked to go to Stagecoach and saw Brad Paisley for the first time that I thought, man, I think I can do that. I think I can do that, and I think it can be a lot of fun. It's just one of those things growing up. You get people. I remember the first time I tried to write a country song, people go, "You're from California. What do you know about country? How are you going to write about country? How are you going to sing about country?" And I proved him wrong. It took me a little bit, but I figured my way through it.
Well, Randy joined us here with us. You can join in on some of the festivities.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me on today.
No, thank you for coming, or listening to us, letting us ask you questions and everything.
So we just finished up with who influenced him the most. He said Brad Paisley, all across the board. He's a guitarist too. So one interesting fact that I'll tell you that Scott told us is that he started his band on Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
So him and the drummer, right?
Yeah, my drummer John.
They formed together on Craigslist.
Wow, that's really cool.
The next question I have for you is, right now, if you could pick one person to go on tour with, you being the opening act for this person, who would it be?
It'd have to be Garth.
Garth Brooks?
Yeah, I got to see Garth on his last tour, or part of his tour when he hit San Diego, and I don't think I've ever seen a more incredible performance in my life. I think from an energy perspective and just a general passion for music, I would love to be on the road with that guy, and I'd love to learn from him.
That'd be really cool. This is another question. Where is the one place in the world that you would want to perform with? Like one venue or one stadium, one outdoor concert venue, and you could do it with Garth Brooks. So it's you and Garth Brooks at this one place. Where is it?
If I had to pick one, I'm going to have to say the Gorge up in Washington.
All right.
I'm not sure if you've ever been there. It's an outdoor amphitheater that sits on the edge of a cliff overlooking the Columbia River. When you go out there to see concerts or festivals, and the best part is it's never the closing act. It's usually always the opener or the middle opening act that gets to play right as the sun's setting. It's one of the picturesque venues you could ever ask to play a concert. Probably be my number one bucket list spot.
What is the theater that Zac Brown Band recorded their music video in? Is that the Gorge?
That I believe you're talking about Red Rocks, and that would definitely Red Rocks definitely be on the top 5. That is also a very, very beautiful venue and a great music scene in Colorado. So whenever you go to shows there, a lot of good energy and just people have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this, Randy. In one of the Zac Brown episodes, they do it at this place in Colorado, and all the seats are carved out of the side of the mountain.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's
No, that does sound beautiful.
Definitely, you can pull up some pictures on Google.
I've only been to indoor concerts in the Northeast.
I love a good outdoor concert. Yeah, and that question, that's all relevant. It's if you had to pick the one, you want to pick the biggest one. But for example, we just played with Chase Bryant on a couple of his tour dates when he came out this way, and we got to play Buck Owens' Crystal Palace.
That's pretty cool.
Which, legendary venue. I mean, to be able to step onto a stage like that, regardless of the size of the venue or the room, there's just so many places. I remember the first time I got to play House of Blues, which was 6 months ago, and that was a bucket list moment for me.
That's pretty
So
cool.
Wow, yeah.
It changes all the time. Gotta appreciate the small, or I should say, the smaller moments just as much as you would hope for the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to think about it. The Grand Ole Opry is not this huge hundreds of thousands of seat venue. I think it has to be less than close to 800 seats in the Grand Ole Opry. But yet, if you were a country singer and you played in the Grand Ole Opry, you might as well you're done.
Just hand in your mic
just-
and pick.
I'll promise you this. You see me set my foot on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, and you're probably going to see me get a little emotional about it. I tend to wear my feelings on my sleeve. So that is an honor of itself that is tied in with playing the Opry, and that's definitely one of those moments that I am waiting for and holding my breath on.
Oh, definitely.
It's gonna happen one of these days.
And I'm hoping that if you're standing on the stage, I'm standing next to you off stage.
At least in the crowd.
Well, I promise you this: when you make it there and get on that side stage, you will enjoy the view. I was lucky enough to get that once to stand side stage and watch the Max play, and it was it's an incredible venue.
Oh man.
From the moment you walk in the door, it's just incredible.
That's really cool. So we're gonna go into some of these funkier questions at the bottom part. And do you have any pre-concert rituals?
Yeah, I got two. I had to think about this one. I'm really weird about this. I have to go wash my hands before we play.
All right, it's different. Hey, we've heard breathing. We've heard like a room to himself, like silent room. So to wash his hands.
No, I have to go wash my hands, and that's mainly because just grabbing a guitar, if your hands are all dirty or greasy from setting up or whatever, it just drives me nuts. And that's just, it sounds like such a small thing, but it's not something I like to worry about when we go on to actually perform. So anytime we get ready to go on, that's usually the last thing I do is I run and just wash my hands real fast. And then my other one, I'm not a big drinker while we're playing. Sometimes I'll throw back a beer, towards the end of the night. But if I'm having an off night or if my throat's not feeling too well, I'll do a shot of Tronic. So that is my secret weapon. That's like singer's saving grace right there.
There you go. Take note for future.
Yeah, coats your throat, warms everything up, and it'll turn a bad vocal night into a good one real fast.
There you go. So what is one thing, I heard you say before that you live with your roommates. What is one thing you cannot leave your house without?
Headphones.
Headphones?
I keep headphones on at all times. I keep them in my briefcase for when I have to go to work. I keep them in my truck. I cannot go anywhere without them, especially traveling.
There you go. Now where are you? What are you, an iPhone guy where you have the little ones, or are you a headset guy?
You know what? I'm an iPhone guy for convenience, although I'm not. I will say that when I get a chance, I'm going to go out and scoop up a pair of those Bose quiet canceling ones, because for the airplane, I borrowed a set recently and they're awesome. And I'm definitely enough of an audiophile to where I want different headphones for different applications.
I heard you say that you go on for work. Now, did you go to college?
I did. I graduated from Cal State Long Beach, and I ended up with a business economics degree.
That's pretty cool.
College was fun, it was a business thing for me to just get in and get it done. I was always trying to focus on something music related. I had a good time with it.
I'm the journalism major. Randy is transferring. She's going to go to Maritime Academy in Massachusetts, which is kind of like
I wish I could go to the one in California. That would be awesome.
She's going to like a kind of a boarding school for like marine majors, aquatic majors, I guess you could say. Who's your favorite songwriter?
That's a tough one. The tough thing is with songwriting is because there's so many people that get their hands in that pot, especially in Nashville. I mean, that's every bit as much of the scene out there as performing and being an artist is. So I tend to gravitate towards the artists that do a lot of their writing, and are pretty outspoken about it. So right now I'm going to have to say guys like Kip Moore, Casey Musgraves, something really commendable about these big name acts who still don't, like with Kip, for example, well, both of them, they're not worried about trying to write the next chart smashing single. They're worried about writing good songs and crafting good albums, which is, I think, it's an art that's lost nowadays. And when you write a good song and craft a good album, it's going to sell either way. They're not trying to write something disposable. They're not sticking to, a set of rules or standards. Just like this whole Chris Stapleton thing that's come around. That guy's been writing for everybody forever. Huge songs with so many people, and he's finally starting to get his crack at the big time. And something like that can change the course of music.
Oh, and he's cashing in, like, big time.
As he should.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's great. And to me, there's something really important to be said about that. Like, you can't be afraid to go out there and do what it is that you want to do with this, because it is art. Anything that's quality is going to sell. You don't have to stick to a formula or a certain style or sound because it's what's popular.
Very true. Now, do you have any questions for us? We'd like to turn the tables here and make the people who we're interview kind of interview us. We had a couple good questions last week with Dylan on how long we've been doing it, just around that stuff. You could ask any question. If you don't want to ask questions, then
I'm going to ask the question that I ask any radio personality I deal with.
I'm nervous.
No. It's my favorite question to ask, and I will tell you that you don't have to answer it, because this one is going on the record. Usually they don't, because it's always off to the side that I ask this. What is, right now, and I'd like you both to answer, what is your favorite and least favorite song in rotation right now on country radio?
Oh, man. I hate country rotation. Just because you could ask Randy, I write down all my songs. I make sure I don't play like 2 in a row on a show. So my favorite right now on rotation would have to be Brett Eldridge, Drunk on Your Love. And my worst, I don't know. I couldn't tell you worst.
Yeah, I can't think of my least favorite. But my favorite is definitely any Eric Church song that we play.
I would have to say, just because it's still on and it's been on there forever, is Girl Crush. They're great, don't get me wrong, but after hearing that song for the fifth or sixth time while you're driving somewhere, it's just kind of like, we understand. Like, we get it by now.
Yeah, that one hit big when it hit, didn't it? I love that song, but yeah, you definitely could not get away with it. They must have been happy with it by the time it was all said and done.
Well, what are your songs right now? That's a good question for you. What are your favorite and least favorite?
Man, okay, I didn't expect that to get flipped around. Right now, honestly, probably going to be Brothers Osborne, Stay a Little Longer. I think that's just a great song.
Yeah, I do love that.
That is a great song. There's really great lyrical content. Chase Bryant's A Little Bit of You right now is up there as well. I love that song. Least favorite, that's probably a lot tougher to answer. I'm going to, for the sake of not getting myself in too much trouble, do a general answer on that. I'm not a big fan of any particular song on country radio that has an electronic dance beat behind it, if you catch my drift.
I know what you mean.
Absolutely.
There's definitely one song that pops into my head right now. I don't know if you could name it, Randy.
There's a handful of them, and again, there's nothing wrong with that because the bands that are doing that, I still love the band, but it just, to me, it seems a little out of place, and I just I cringe a little bit when the dance beat kicks in. I want to hear a real drummer, not a drum machine.
There's one person I could think of, and I'll say it on there. I got the cojones to do it. But the Zac Brown Band song, Beautiful Drug.
Yeah, but that song acoustic is beautiful. I love it.
But if you listen to the one they put on the album.
Yeah, when you can like fist bump to it.
Yeah, it's like.
Sad.
Yeah, and again, those guys are amazing, and I love the lyrical content of the song, and that actually wasn't even one of the ones I was thinking of. I had a feeling that the other day that wasn't what I was referring to, but yeah, I remember the first time I heard that, it really caught me off guard, especially for a band that's so, I mean, they definitely evolved from album to album, but it wasn't the direction that I saw them going.
Yeah, not at all. And they're so like musically talented. If you see them live, they have like the fiddler there. They're like amazing like vocalists and everything.
And they've turned themselves into in terms of the size of the footprint they're taking up on stage, they've really turned themselves into a Allman Brothers style lineup where they're they got percussionists now, and yeah, they're one of the better concerts I've ever been to. I've seen them 3 times.
Oh wow!
Really looking forward to catching them in Grand Junction this year. But and again, that's nothing to knock any of these particular artists because it's all in good fun. I'm a couple different artists, and everybody does something different. Everybody's you got to be supportive of everybody because it really is all in good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're testing waters. And
that one thing of like trying to cross the genres over too much, it just dilutes it a little bit to me.
A little bit. I agree with you there. Now, you said a good thing with you have pretty good friends that are pretty high up. Who is the biggest name that you're friends with on the country scene?
Friends is a tough one to say. You run into people. Like, I would tell you if I bumped into Cam, she would remember who I was at least. I can't say that we're friends, but after seeing her over the course of the last summer, and I'm sure we'll cross paths at a festival or something this summer, she is a real sweetheart, and, I can at least say that she would probably recognize me and remember my name, but that's also because I tend to be a little bit obnoxious when I'm on stage, and, we like to rock out and have fun when we hit that stage, so I tend to make sure that people at least don't forget my name, whether it's for good reasons or bad.
Hey.
But no, I met a lot of nice people. A guy that's coming up right now that you guys are probably going to be hearing a lot of, Brett Young, based out of Nashville, and he's got a song on the highway that's in the Hot 30 rotation. Brett's actually a very dear friend of mine. He's one of the ones who's been one of the biggest helps along the way in my career over the last 3 or 4 years, and he's a good guy.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye out for him. He's got a song on the highway right now called Sleep Without You, and you're definitely going to be hearing a lot about him.
I definitely heard that song on my way to Massachusetts on Saturday.
You probably have.
I definitely did, because I'd never heard it before.
There you go.
But I thought it was a Massachusetts thing.
They play different rotation, It's different state.
And I'm sure he's on his radio tour right now, so I'm sure you guys will be hearing him. Everybody's been real cool. Chris Young was real cool. Chase Bryant was awesome. I'm trying to think of who else we bumped into along the way. Parmalee guys were cool. So, you just kind of, when you're back there, it's just a hangout deal. The fanboy in me wants to say hi to everybody, say that you said hi to them. They're working, you're working, so you just kind of make your way and let it all happen naturally, and every time everyone ends up just being really down to earth.
I'm betting the first fanboy you would turn into is Mr. Garth Brooks. If you ever got to like stand next to him, my bet is that.
Yeah, if I got around Garth, I'd definitely be a little bit nervous, and I'm sure he's just as nice as the rest of them. But that's a big name. I mean, if you're talking to a guy like that, especially somebody that I've been listening to since I was a child, you kind of have to be in awe just out of the experience of of it.
I think mine would have to be, I'd have to say Toby Keith. If I can meet Toby Keith or Montgomery Gentry, they'd be my two. I'd be a little nervous to shake their hand. My hand would shake.
Well, and that's the thing. You think about, Toby, he's got a career that spanned, as long as it has. He's a legend at this point. It's Toby, Garth, George Strait, Tim McGraw. Those are people that have not only made it big, they've stood the test of time. There's not a lot of people that can be said for.
Oh, no, there's definitely. People fall off every year. You hear people one year that are like, oh, they came out with a great song, they had a few good hits on their album, and then next year they're gone.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, as for me, I'm done. I have no more questions to ask you. Randy's got none, and I think we're all set here. Well, if you have anything else to say, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank you guys. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to catching up with you guys again down the road.
Awesome, yeah.
That's awesome.
If you ever make it to the East Coast, I definitely want to see you. It'd be cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. We pretty much try to take anything we can get.
I have one more favor to ask of you. We asked our guy Dylan last week, who we did the interview with, do a station ID, and we were wondering if you could do it too. If you have a pen and paper, it's easier to tell you than having me repeat it and then you repeating it. He got confused.
Go for it, man.
All right, so just say, obviously, this is Scotty Mac from the Scotty Mac Band, and you're listening to Country Fried on WSIN 1590 AM.
Okay, so just real quick, it's actually, you guys, this is a first for me. So this is Scotty Mac from the Scotty Mac Band, and you're listening to Country Fried on WSIN 1590 AM.